Why?
Abluzu is Icelandic for hello there.
Well, blues to you too.
Yeah, sure. Abluzu.
Nez, I have a question for you. Because everyone's going to start logging on, but here's my question. Like, Melody and I have our dream jobs. I mean, I'm not speaking for her. I know it for a fact. I have my dream job. She has her dream job working with you guys. Was there ever somebody that you would have wished that you could have been an apprentice to or worked with how we work with our idol?
Well, yes, no, undoubtedly, no doubt. But the environment of the Monkees and the whole Monkees enterprise and thing was so toxic to the entrepreneurial spirit and to the creative mind and thinking outside the box that slowly over the time that it was on the air, I just got brought down tighter and tighter and tighter until, the last 2 shows of the season, I felt like all my reins had just been collapsed and tied off. I just couldn't move, couldn't do anything. So I was glad to get out of there, but I never lost what's the word? It's not hope or a dream or something, a desire to have the same access to those spaces that I had when I had the celebrity and when I was the recognition. And I don't know. You look at it and it's so enchanting, and you think, oh, this would be a great series or show or something, but it really isn't. It's funky, and unless you like the music, it's funky. I mean, and unless you dance in your living room, it's funky.
When's the last time that you've ever watched the Monkees show?
I think I just watched the special I wrote and directed about 6 weeks ago, something like that.
When little Richard died, we watched some clips from 33 1/3, but we didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the whole thing. You won't be a fan. Here's the reason. I inherited a new Monkees group that has about 9,000 followers, and I wanted to talk about the new live CD because Video Ranch, which we all work for, your company, Video Ranch, is going to. We have pre-orders now for the vinyl that's coming out. This is the CD, but the vinyl is coming out. And honestly, I never liked live records. I mean, the 1967 record is just of the Monkees is horrible. I mean, Mel, are we in agreement? It's terrible.
You can't hear any music. It's just screaming.
Right. It's all.
But please make your point, Judy.
So this one is amazing. But why is it amazing? Is it because of Christian? Is it because of you guys? What made this amazing?
Well, I don't have an answer that I could give you that you could then turn into an executable and go and run the program. It doesn't work like that. But there is a series of steps. Whenever I'm involved in music, I always think of the aphorism, order is heaven's first law. And music is very orderly. And so when it starts to get precise and perfectly in tune and everything comes in, it's a high unlike any other high that I know of. I mean, it's just, wow, this is where I want to never leave. And it's why, you smoke dope all the time. You figure, well, I'll just hang out up here. There's no reason to go down there in the traffic. But in any case, what it is a state of mind that you access through music and through the magic of music and through compositions and so forth. And you access it through your own internal clock and what you want and how you want it to be.
Were there any songs, Nez, that that were brought to the table that you had to relearn, that you forgot how good they were in having to repractice and repurpose these songs?
Well, no.
You remembered that they were all great?
No, I remember that they were all not great, and that I was so disappointed that another opportunity had come and gone. The Monkees show that you go and see now, even though it's winnowed down to the us, the remnants, is a top drawer, first rate pop music show, and it plays the greatest pop music hits of its era, of the 60s. And you can sit in there just in the first 5 minutes of music played live off of that stage, you get what it's about. And what's missing in a regular concert is the live music. It's everything is so prepackaged and so artificial now that you almost never hear people actually play. As ironic as that may sound, coming from me, it's still not the inability to hear somebody actually play is a sad loss. And there've been some incredible players in the whole rock and roll pantheon, and they're not all in the Hall of Fame, I'll tell you for sure. And a lot of them played on the most popular records of the time, and so forth. And for me, it's worth going back and digging all that stuff up. Did I cover the topic of the question? I've been trying to figure out what are we talking about.
Okay. You know what? I said hello, and then the rest of it, Melody's like, she doesn't know what he's talking about. But that's okay. Usually after we have a meeting, I have to look up some of the stuff anyway to decipher what it is. What is your favorite song that you've ever written? For the Monkees, I'm sorry, for the Monkees. Is there a song you're most proud of?
I think in a way the very early things, Papa Gene's Blues. There was something about those songs that was realizing something in my musical history, mind, legacy, whatever, and it was important to me. I thought, oh look, they came to life. And I think I had that sense of it at the same time that the 5 to 9 year olds had in the basements in Ohio and wherever else they were listening to rock and roll music for the first time. And having that as a nascent audience was all I ever needed. I just needed that in my head. And when I was watching Papa Gene's Blues in its music video form for the first time in the screening room, I looked over to, I guess it was Phyllis I was married to at the time. I said, this is a huge, huge hit, meaning this show. And what I meant was what has come down, the way people still treat us and the music and so forth. I think it's all deserved by me than anybody else. I'm got a lot more charlatan duties than musician duties, but it's still a privilege to be involved in it and just to float. I mean, it's a good time. No, I have forgotten what we're talking about.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for, just to remind you. So I was listening to the live record again today, and what Mel and I were talking about is that 14 of 25 songs you wrote on this album, which is kind of it. I'll tell you what's weird is that as a Monkees fan, it was always kind of drilled in my head. Bobby Hart or Boyce and Hart, Neil Diamond, Carole King. Those were the names of the songwriters that I think it really was emphasized. But 14 of 25 songs were all Michael Nesmith written. And I don't know that they really made a point of that in the 60s, did they? When the albums were coming out.
No, quite the contrary. And converse, they wanted to keep that hidden. They wanted it to just be kind of weird and mysterious and off from nowhere. And then, you know, people would make up and connect dots however they wanted to. In some strange way, that almost happened. You know, people just assigned different instruments and so forth. I mean, I know that the Monkees gestalt was infinitely complex. I couldn't even possibly map it. But it was that complexity that gave it the richness for me. I didn't find anything in the songs or in the music or anything, playing with the guys or any of those things to give me with any special powers so that I couldn't suddenly levitate, for instance. None of those things were there. No special powers were conferred, but there was something, and that something is what am I going to say? Keeps me coming back. It keeps me interested.
It doesn't hurt that you and Mickey get along really well.
Oh, I'll say. I mean, it would be impossible if we didn't. There are a lot of guys like that. I mean, guys who apparently have, you know, a fair enough time, like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but who don't have any playtime. They're not friends. They don't hang out and do all of this stuff together. Mick and I, if we're in the same town, we're in the same restaurant, hanging at the same beach, chasing the same dreams, and it's fun. You know, he's a fun travel companion, and we traveled, you know, first class. I mean, when we need to, we take a jet, and we don't, we take a limo bus, and it's, you know, it's not traveling and like a Conestoga across the open prairie.
No, we save that for Mickey's solo shows.
Well, I've heard all about them. Yeah, believe it. Yeah.
No, I have a question for you. How come, with most of the songs you sing lead that you wrote, how come Mary, Mary, Mickey got?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was my idea. I always thought Mickey had a better, more accessible voice in the pop music world than I did, basically because I felt like my voice was too twangy, because I had been told that it was by the people in the Brill building and, you know, around. Oh, no, you're way too country. You'll never work in this. You can't work. This is pop music. And, you know, did everything they could to get rid of me. It didn't work, did it? But in that trying to make things change, you couldn't. It didn't take you very long to realize that what was before you was manifesting. It wasn't a mirage. It wasn't some fancy idea that was coming true in the young child's mind. This was the real thing. And it was as real as it gets on this plane of manifestation.
When you would write a song, did you write the lyrics and the guitar part, and then other people wrote the piano or the drum part? How did that work?
Well, when I write a song, I write it in my head, and I write it to my memory, and I store it in my memory. Then once I have it stored, I turn all the gadgets off except for a recorder, and I take what I've got stored in my head and I lay it down on the recorder. And that becomes basically the master track. In that transfer, I use a click track. Tick, 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 tick. At this point, I have made no music, no chordal effects, no nothing. All I have is just a track and a pulse and a beat and so forth. Then comes what is the rhythm guitar or the symphony of the song. It's a big midsection, which is played by my 12 string. It's a Martin 12, and either there's a line there, in the latest song, Dance of Mother and Child, I play a nice line on really suited to the 12 string. Or there's big chordal and orchestral strummings that open it up so you can hear the full range of the extended chords. And it's, did I forget what we're talking about?
No, you didn't. I just liked the mention event. I liked what you had said.
The mention event? Oh no, there's a county sheriff's department.
Again?
I'm gonna answer it.
No, I was gonna let it go to voicemail because we're busy.
Who is it?
It's Kansas.
Oh,
She only calls when you're live.
It's me. I'm calling you.
Only calls when I'm alive.
When you're live.
Oh, ga.
Okay, so question for you. Somebody asked, what does St. Matthew mean? What is that song is about? Uh-oh.
I'm getting an image. It's coming to me. There's the name Anita. Does the name Anita mean anything
Anita.
to you? Does anyone here know an Anita? Okay, Anita, have you lost your wallet? Do you know? Check to see if you have your wallet.
This is why our meetings are 3 hours.
Anita does not have the wallet. Okay, Anita, it's in the hall closet behind the backgammon set. Okay, good luck. On our way to our show, it's time for Video Ranch. And your host, Sparkly Bob. And here he is now. Say hi, Sparkly. Everybody is Sparkly Bob with everybody who come on, guys. Wait a minute. I'm in a room alone.
What are you giving him?
Alone.
What?
Okay, so the original question was, what was St. Matthew about?
What do you think I've been talking about all this time?
So
I can get it more clear than that. Yeah.
Perfectly clear.
oh, okay, I understand now.
You need to look at the lyrics more closely, Jody.
Me. Okay.
In outer space, soon vector from billions of miles and years away.
Okay.
And where?
What's Matthew about?
Yeah.
I always thought it was, what I took away from St. Matthew was your willingness and ability to tell stories about women that are outside of sort of the romantic bubble, and just that felt very equal to me. Like women exist outside of romantic objects, I guess, or sex objects in your music. You can go anytime.
Okay. This is an easy one. Who put the touring band together?
Which touring band?
The Monkees.
What? Mike and Mickey?
The Mike and Mickey tour.
The last one. The one where I got sick and had to stop?
No, the second one.
The one that I came back, I was doing it. Okay, yeah.
The one with Probin.
Can't remember. I think they were basically the remnants of the big band, and it was, we didn't need but about 6 or 8 pieces in the little first national band. So it felt to me very spontaneous, like it just came together naturally. It sounded, because of the songs, it all sounded pretty much like it was supposed to me. Although I can really hear it charging way up into a really big band, and I don't know quite how that would sound yet, but I have an idea, and I think it would be just fabulous, electrifying. But
you mean like when we had discussed doing like background singers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You could see that with the Monkees songs as well as F&B?
Yeah, I think as much as one wanted to arrange those Monkees tunes, they would come up. They're damn near show tunes as they sit. And if you just tweak here and there, they, it's like a turtle. They pick their nose out of their shell and let's go play. And they're wonderful songs. They're they're not cloying in any sense. They're not like, you're not going back to Romper Room or some 3-year-old in front of a TV set. You're going to a formative year, just basically prepubescent and by themselves or friends in a place where they can mature in front of the only thing that's giving them any information about growing up, which is the TV. That's a real thing. And when they got charged about it, oh, that's not any kind of real thing. It was like, oh, really? Watch this. And then the Monkees concert followed, and to everybody's jaw being on the floor, like, wait, those guys can really do it. Well, I don't know about that, but it was darn good for who we were and where we come from. Yeah, for what it was. There wasn't a missed beat in the whole thing. And it was a joy being on stage with David and Mickey and Peter. I mean, these are consummate showmen, and Mickey with his slamming his drums. It was fun. It was a good time. So that's why people came in there and had a good time. We were having a good time. I was sorry that I got the reputation of a grump. I'm not sure how that happened, except just calling too many people a son of a bitch at the same time, I guess. But something in there set everybody off on the wrong.
Did you ever feel like, because you kind of were, people did kind of think you were a pain in the ass, I guess, back in the day. Well, I mean, this is not a shock to you, but did you ever, like, now that you have this success with your writing, and 50 some years later, you have an album on Billboard with Mickey, did you ever get that moment where you're like, yeah, told you,
I take your point, and it's a great question. It's a great question to ask somebody like me, especially who since the first day felt like I fell into a tub of butter. I mean, it was just the most luxurious, perfect, happy place to be. And it was never anything to me other than a gift from a benevolent whatever that said, you want to play music? Try this. This is fun. Bang. And there it was. I, being the disgruntled mortal that I am and was, didn't quite get it. And had I gotten it, I think I would have learned to love David and Peter much more than I did, and to be a good member of the band. But whatever that is, it's come and gone. Here we all are right now. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the music. I'm happy with what we laid down out there. I was able to keep my sort of meager solo career going along parallel to it. I got no complaints. What could I possibly complain about? But if I wanted to make it better and better and better, I don't know what I do. I get out there and start, festooning it with license plates.
So I think that was perfect. So now my question for you is, do you write anything new ever? Have you picked up a pen and written any new music at all?
Yeah, well, I just posted a couple of things on Facebook.
What?
You did?
You did?
Yeah.
When? Right now?
Day before yesterday.
You did?
No, you didn't. Stop fibbing.
No, you did not.
Real answers. No, don't.
Now you got us thinking, did you?
Stop it.
Nez, the 1997 movie that you guys did, that you wrote and directed, right?
Correct.
That was, if you had your chance right now, because we've talked about this before, if you and Mickey were offered a television show of two aging musical guys that are going back on the road, you got a TV show or you got a record deal, what do you think you would do right now? Do you think you would act or continue with going on the road doing music?
Well, I think I would probably go back to the characters and the narratives of the screenplays. If it was my decision to make, I don't know that it would. You can see the minute you start thinking about it, it just raises all sorts of questions. Like, what's interesting about a show about two old farts who used to be in a rock and roll band? Well, the answer is nothing. And your question was, sir, can I bring you a fly with that? So,
I think it would be hilarious.
So, well, it would be hilarious. I mean, there's no doubt that if I got loose doing it and put it together with the A-Team, who I've just kept in touch with over the years, we'd come up with something dang cool.
I think that would be absolutely hilarious. Two guys who are going back on the road and they expect what it used to be like with the young girls throwing the panties on the stage, and now it's evolved to the depends on
Jody.
You see where I'm going?
I'm so far since then.
Okay, so question. So the new record, this is the first time we've ever had a Monkees record offered at Video Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And the vinyl drops on June the 12th, right, Mel?
Yep.
And what we did, because we're a small business, we made this offer for anybody. You sign everything at Video Ranch. I don't think people realize that who never subscribed to your website, but everything can be personalized for the most part and autographed. But what we're doing now to celebrate is everyone gets tell them what they get, Mel.
Okay.
This beautiful motor home.
Nez comes and delivers everything in an Amazon truck.
So if they get the LP from our shop, they get their own My Cat t-shirt, which was designed by Jonathan Nesmith and Susan Holloway. And that's our own logo, exclusive to Video Ranch, celebrating the wool hat. And which is
here's the story about the wool hat.
Yeah, tell the wool story.
I had it on because I rode the motorcycle into the audition, so I was carrying the wool hat around just before helmets were
mandatory.
Yeah, and I was flipping it around my finger and so forth. And the guy, Grip or something, said something about it. Looked at my hat. It's obviously not cold enough for a hat like that. And I said, motorcycle. And he nodded recognition. It was one of those continental 4-star handshakes that people make with each other when they find out that the other is in on something that they are in on as well. And it's a total secret 4-star handshake. But if you make it, then you are in the club. And well, I made the 4-star handshake. I'm waiting for whatever's going to happen here. They're going to light me up from a cosmic distance, and we'll just all have to see what's going to happen. And then this part is much more hypnagogia and dream.
You know what we're talking about?
I did until you started posing
We're
like a porpoise on a rock.
You're talking about the original wool hat?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I just wanted to check in.
Look, you guys have heard my song But I'd like either one of you to recite just one verse of The Other Room. Right now.
Oh, wow. Wait.
The Other Room. Just real quick, just do it right now.
That's how it goes, though, right? I'm doing it right.
No.
No?
No.
Wait, that's not gonna work.
Okay. So we're at Secret Handshake, and then we're at the Wool Hat.
Okay.
Give me this sword like
Give
this.
me it. I'll light it for you.
I don't want you to.
So difficult.
Thank you. Now what? What?
So was it your idea to sit on the beach with in dungarees and a jean jacket and a wool hat in California in the middle of summer?
Well, I mean, that's the way you dress in California in the middle of the summer. You know, it's the coldest, coldest summer you'll ever have. But hold on, I don't understand the relevance you're looking for here. What? It was just, you know, it was just an outfit to ride a motorcycle in, and everybody they didn't know my name, so they started calling me Wool Hat. And they said, "Oh yeah, that Wool Hat. Yeah, I had Wool Hat come back in here because we were in a cattle call." And I looked exactly like I look today. I had a big gray beard, and I was in my late 80s. Hey, I got you, Dad. I got you.
You didn't realize that you were a trendsetter because then when you subsequently went back on stage with the Jimmy Choos, you made it okay to wear glittery stuff. I consider my wardrobe an ode to you. It's all your fault.
Well, yes and no. There has to be a willing consort. You got to be willing to go along with it. So, you know, like that gets you membership if you're willing to do it. There's a lot of people come up with all sorts of ideas, but you say, "Really? Well, let's do that." They go, "Oh no, I'm not going to."
It seems like if you do it, then it's okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. I'll give you.
Okay, so question for you. If you when you go on stage and you sing your songs, do you have a favorite song that you have written that you can't wait to get to that point on a show?
Well, no, the shows are put together so that they have their own internal pulse and they resonate against each other in a way that I'm designing in it when I set the playlist. And you can hear it kind of floating over the whole experience, this live music thing. I use air quotes because I can't describe it in words. But it's something that starts to happen somewhere down the road of a live performance. And everything gets baked, gets inculcated with this music, with this fervor of this music. Fervor is too strong a word, but it's still just this thing that takes you over. That's the reason you listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. The reason I do it.
Do you feel any responsibility that you have your music makes people happy, that your music makes them remember something in their life? I mean, it seems like a big responsibility when you are that person who sang somebody's wedding song or the reason a baby was made. I mean, do you ever think like your words that you put together have changed people's lives?
I think about it all the time, Jody, but not the way you're rolling it out. Let me roll it out for you, and it'll make more sense. I think it's because it's a subject that's very deep that goes down to making sure that you get the names spelled right. I mean, it's every detail, every second of the moment that they spend in your presence and in getting whatever trinket you're signing over to them, signed in that time, are seconds that are immortalized. They'll remember them forever, for the rest of their life. They may not remember them correctly. I know that happens a lot. And they may remember it in a way that it wasn't intended. But still in all, something happens when you're in that presence of a real song and a real poem and something. And when we're doing what we're doing here, which is exhuming this thing, I guess it's a different word because it was never actually created, but exhuming this thing on some level and bringing it up, once it hits the light of day, it's immortal. It'll stay there forever. Is this making any sense to anybody? No.
That's okay. Oh, but that's what we love about you.
It is.
What about when you meet the fans? It was actually you who taught me. I asked you several years ago about, you didn't go out in public for like decades. You didn't do autographs. You didn't engage with the people. And then you agreed to do the Monkees convention, which I got to tell you, I lost 15 pounds that summer from pacing back and forth, hoping you would say yes. But then you taught me about what it meant to you to meet your fans. What is that like when people walk up to you and profess everything to you in those minutes?
Well, if you're like me, there's a little anteroom in the great emotional hallway that we call our house, and our hallways, and that we call our house. And we can move freely around in those rooms. And if we get too close to something and it starts to burn, we can move to another space and avoid it. And that's the way I try to render the songs from the stage, that people can stack it up and recall it in the way they stacked it up. It's nothing more than just a record. Well, nothing more. I mean, it's a lot of that. But just having it stack up like that so that you can access it instantly and well and clearly is a big part of what I'm after as a performer, is getting a sense that they're leaving with what the song says to me, and through that says to them. I know that's not a complete full answer, but it's the best I can do sitting here right now. I mean, I could pick up a guitar and demonstrate it, but I can't just...
Oh, if you'd like to do that, we would love to hear it.
Stop it.
Hey, listen, nobody gets anywhere for not trying, right?
Oh no, you get all kinds of prizes and rewards.
What do you think do you have anything that you still want to accomplish in this world?
Oh, well, what an odd question. I mean, I think I would like to accomplish something I don't know I could accomplish, or that I didn't have any. I mean, I can take and extrapolate something like, I want to fly a spaceship. Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. I mean, it's not an assurance it's going to be like a ride at the state fair. And that sort of difference between what you're expecting and what you get actually has a name. I gave Jack Nicholson the authorship of it, but I've used it as long as he had. It's called the Big Wombasa. And the Big Wombasa, you can see it in the Infinite Tuesday. The Big isn't it?
Yeah.
In Infinite Tuesday. The Big Wombasa is what you think you're going to get and don't get when you get what you want. That's it. That's the Big Wombasa. It's like, oh boy, it never dawns on you when you first open it that that's exactly what you need, what you want. It goes in a closet, it gathers dust, it becomes a movie like Toy Story, and it's just crazy how quickly those things are left forgotten. And yet, within all of those things are the magic of what we do, what happens when we sing and dance and play and recite poetry to each other and the stuff we do. They're part of the lovemaking ritual. At least it is for me. I mean,
I love it. Well, when Run DMC did Mary Mary, did you get paid on that?
yeah.
Were you shocked when you heard that for the first time?
Well, I was delighted. I mean, if you want to call that shock, that's okay. I was absolutely thrilled beyond words because, that to me was the masters passing it back to me and saying, yeah, this is okay. And that was enough for me, just to have it fire back through the ether like that and have it be them playing and singing my song back to me the same way that I had originally played it to them was it's a gas. It's one of the best parts of writing and songwriting because you're in this audience of intelligentsia, of the artisan, and the people who really care about the beauty of life, and you're in the middle of that, and it's like being inside a stuffed toy. It is so salutary and feels so silky and right. And the lights that come in through the eyes is the golden and shadowed green eyes that puppets have. And the little toy noise, all that stuff, it all comes into the metaphor expanding to create what this song is. And then once you get it into that place and it manifests and you have it and people start singing it, then that for me is the only reason to live.
Did you ever hear a cover of one of your songs that was so great that you thought, wow, this is better than how we did it?
Well, I thought Linda's cover of Different Drum was better than mine. I thought she had it with Peter and a couple of other guys she worked with that rearranged it, took it away from a country bounce and put it into that ballad that you hear. And I think it made a gorgeous record, really pretty record, and did the song justice. A guy concert comes running up to me and said, "Oh man, you're Michael Nesmith." Yes. "Oh, you wrote Joanne." Yes, I did indeed. I said, "God, that is my favorite song of all time. It's my wife and mine's favorite song." "Oh, thanks. Well, that's great." "Yeah, my wife's named Joanne. She just like the song. Sometimes we'll go out and we'll just drive. I mean, there's a street around here somewhere named Mike Nesmith, and you go out and drive on it if you want to. We do that sometimes." And so, my eyes are starting to roll back, and when is this guy going to make the point? And he said, but anyway, you wrote Joanne. Was that really about a cow under a tree or something? And I said, well, not like you mean it, but yeah, it was sort of that. That's what you can take away from it. It was a love song that I wrote for Jack Nicholson and his current girlfriend. And it wasn't any more complex than that. The fact that Jack is a celebrity and I'm a dumb unknown doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I was waiting for you to call someone a cow. I was waiting for the cow to come back into it. Where did the cow come from? Like, other than the joke in the...
Well, I did just do cow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to come back. I thought you were going to explain cow.
Okay, so my last question to you. The listen to the band, the way that you guys did it in concert. which I think was replicating what was done in 33 1/3. But was that the point of it? And whose idea was it to have you start and then the band come on the stage? Because in my opinion, that was the most brilliant part of the entire Mike and Mickey show. There was something about that that was so cool.
Well, you're talking about the Mike and Mickey show we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go do. Yeah. Well, I'm very conscious of that moment because it is it's a powerful moment when Mickey has climbed into the meaning of the song, and so it just all brings everything home. I mean, that's a tearjerker if you want to do it that way. What?
I think she means how you stay on stage and it's the encore and it looks like it's a mistake or something, and you've stayed on stage and everyone else has left, and you start listening to the band by yourself, and then the band comes back on. The first time, that was not planned, and you just did it. And I don't know if you did it in your Michael Nesmith way of the show is better when everybody doesn't know what's going to happen, or I don't know why you do something like that, but you've been doing it since the 70s because I've heard it live. You go. It seems like you go with the moment when you're in live shows. You're not a rehearsed stage musician, or that's not what you bring. You bring
bring the moment.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite things about watching you play. It's always.
That's why I do
it. In the moment.
To please you.
I was born. Even before I was born. But
so
it happened. I don't know why he did it, but he started it. And then
at the end of 33 1/3,
like that was great.
When you were playing Hey, Hey, Mercy, and there was nobody else, and then everybody came to the stage. That's the version that's on the Mike and Mickey record. And it is so powerful when you bring Listen to the Band. It just sounds amazing. But that was your idea to do that with Mickey?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, Mel, about rehearsing, because what I don't know that people realize is that before you guys go on stage, you have like a full rehearsal with F&B and with the Monkees. Like you literally almost do your show twice in every performance, which I don't see that often, that a band takes it that seriously.
Well, it's not so much. It's like if you turn the concert into a dance, then all the repetitions and twirls, they all make sense, and it starts to be beautiful and lyrical, and you get all these great colors and sounds and lights. That's what at the end of the day, that's what all that is about. It's not to render the music in a special way, because only the players are going to do that. And if the players do it, it's there. If they don't, nothing else can put it there. And you find a lot of failed attempts in big video presentations and, dancing girls, lines of dancing girls and stuff. But it never gets there. It never, ever gets there because there's no way for it to. It's too bogged down in its own ponderosity. And it's just can't move, can't even get out of its own way.
Do you like looking into the audience and seeing the fans jumping up and down and singing along, or does that distract you?
Oh no, I quite like it, and it's great to see because it's almost uniformly covered by, rendered with a smile. So it's somebody dancing and smiling and carrying on, and that's a pleasure to see, and especially if it's a couple of old friends who are still young enough to get a little screwy at a concert, or if it's just going back and trying to relive those moments in the basement by themselves. Wherever it is, I just keep saying basement. I don't mean it.
Do you have a favorite group or television show or movie or something where, so when I watch you guys on stage, it makes me forget about all my problems. It makes me feel like I'm a kid. Is there any outlet that you have for you feeling that same type of excitement or peace or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my own history. What you're talking about is a mixture of nostalgia meets legacy meets moments, those sorts of things. They have to be very carefully constructed, in my experience. And you can't just throw them out there and hope that they stick, because they won't. They don't. They can't do it on their own. They have to be caught, like a fly ball. Bring it in, hold it.
Okay. I'm pretty excited for you guys. The reviews of the new record are really, really great.
Did you send them to me? I want to read them.
Yeah, she sent the one she.
Oh, the new one compares your music to that of how it was originally played back when it came out, which I think is the highest compliment, when it sounds like it should.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I like to listen to it. I want to hear it like the record. And those bands, they go in and they play things, and it's so distorted that sometimes you don't even know what you're listening to. So anyway, one thing that I wanted to do while I have you guys, and then I'm going to let you go, is with all this stuff, we've been closed. Video Ranch has kind of been closed for a couple weeks now, but we're back in business. And just that we appreciate all the fans, the new ones that are just going to start coming to us to see what Video Ranch is, and the ones that have stuck with us and support our small business, because they could go and get this Mike and Mickey record if they wanted to on Amazon, but they're keeping us all in business by shopping with us. And we appreciate all of the fans out there.
We'll give them a lot of kudos and hoorays.
Yeah, they can start wearing the wool hat shirt. And also, do you care that we start lobbying to get the nudie suit into the Smithsonian?
No, if you can do it, I think it's a good idea. But I don't think you can do it.
They're accepting applications right now.
They're currently accepting applications.
Okay, well, wouldn't that be fun?
I think it would be fun to go there and say that was the first. He did it first.
Yeah, something.
You're the greatest. All right, guys.
All right, kiddos.
I love you so much.
Bye.
I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Oh, it's fun. I love you guys.
Love you. Bye, guys. Be careful. Have a good night. Bye. So there you go. Mike and Melody hanging out at Video Ranch. I'm going to watch this back and see if I understand it a little bit more. That is how our meetings go. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you. I hope that you stop by Video Ranch, videoranch.com, because we have the new Mike and Mickey record on vinyl, on pre-sale, and we have a lot of cool Nez stuff. And we're going to start talking to all new F&B and new Nez fans who maybe stopped like I did with just the Monkees and then never really got into the Nez stuff. We're going to start easing you into learning some of the other cool stuff that Nez has done. So anyway, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mel, for doing that. And I hope that you guys had fun. Have a great night, and we will see you next week. Love to all of you. Stay safe. Bye.